Hello and welcome back, everyone. Scootsy16 here with another episode of the Chem Lock League and new mic who dis. I know I was dealing with a few mic issues over the last few videos, and I apologize for that. I did end up making an upgrade, and I think I sound very different. I hope that's okay for all of you. The goal is make myself clear and that it sounds good enough that you can keep listening to these videos. So let me know your feedback in the comments down below. If you like it, if you don't like it, I can try and make some adjustments to the settings, but this is the new mic going forward, hopefully, and appreciate your feedback. We are here in the off season, and I want to get into it really quickly because this is going to be an interesting off season that we're about to go through with our chemistry lock set at tier 3 competitive, tier 3 spirited, and tier 3 crafty. It means we have very limited options, and our goal is to try and drive as many of those three types of traits to the team. So I did some scouting ahead of time, and I don't know if I'm really excited about the team, but there's definitely some pieces that will make us look very interesting next year and hopefully build off of where we were this last season. So if you missed it, we ended the season at 7-9. We missed the playoffs. It was not a great first year. There was a lot of underperforming players, but we did get the number 1 player in the league, offensive player, and that was Adriana Harrington. So something we can have a little bit of success and celebrate was Harrington. We also saw a pretty good season from our ace, who was Luke Resplendent. And as we went into the offseason, we did bring back most of our players, at least for now, but there aren't going to be many that stick around. Let's go ahead and quick talk about the players that I expect to stay on the team. And there is 5 offensive players and 5 pitchers as well. So we will probably be bringing back Gad Mann. Unless something drastic happens, he will be back on the team as our starting catcher. We're going to bring in Milan, or we're going to keep Milan Tirehead here as our utility player. He can cover all of the infield and outfield positions, so he's got some value, especially with that tier 3 distractor trait as well. We plan to bring back Adriana Harrington, of course. She is the core of our offense, and I hope she can continue to build off of what we saw last year. Amos Get Wrecked will be back for another season. I hope he continues to develop. I'm actually going to be planning to bring back Demi Trampelson as a bench infielder or outfield option. Hopefully she gets so much less participation on this team than she did last year. Luke will be back, as well as Rex Appleseed. I don't think we'll be bringing back Colorado Bozak, but because I believe we will have an upgrade there. And then Ellen Booth, Quincy Heath, and Instante Day are the 3 bullpen pieces that will be coming back as well. And then we have a couple of newcomers as well. So time for us to get into this right away. And I'm going to tell you right now, I did the math and we have a little bit of wiggle room, but it's going to be tight. And if we have to overspend for a lot of these players, then I don't know if we'll have enough room to bring everybody I want to. So at least to stay around the 10 million surplus mark, which is usually my threshold. So, I'll get into some of these players as we get started, but I do want to call out... Is there anybody I wanted to call out here? I guess let's look at the plan. So at the catching position, we have Gadman coming back. I plan to be bringing in aging Simon Baxter as our backup catcher. Decent contact rating if he does have to hit. Little hack means nothing, but I'm bringing him in because of that tier 3 cannon arm trait. When he does play, I'm hoping that he can make an impact behind the plate there. So he's going to be cheap. He's going to be reasonably priced for us, and hopefully that'll help us save some money as well. First baseman for us will be Brock Kramer. There's a couple of options here, but Brock Kramer helps us with the chemistry. He's 22 years old, and I think he is a great place to start building off of. I hope he's not somebody we have to rely on, but I think we can be a little surprised from his production. At second base, our starter is going to be former All-Star Makai Nornerwest. Actually, was he an All-Star? Hold on. I have this in front of me. Makai was not an all-star last year, but we did see a really, really interesting trait from him, and that's why I wanted to bring him in, and that is the RBI hero trait. So he'll be our starting second baseman. He's a lot slower than I'd like to have, but RBI hero, he is probably going to be our biggest offensive weapon. Next, let's go to third base. Not a lot of options at third base, so this was really tough. The one we're going to be bringing in is 35-year-old Ben Curley. He has what will be tier 3 bad ball hitter. So another guy that I think is stable, can hold down the fort, will sit in the middle of the lineup, and I hope be a surprise boost and catalyst for our offense from time to time. And at shortstop will be rookie Flip Bauer. Flip has 93 contact, 53 power, 82 fielding, and 79 arm. So yes, he's slow. He is 20. He has fastball hitter, which is at tier 1, but I'd rather him have it for us and maybe develop another better trait versus letting him be on a team that would take advantage of his tier 3 fastball hitter traits. That's why we went with him at that position. So Flip will be our starting shortstop, and then we'll have Evermore Patterson be our other bench infielder, who will be more of a offensive option and maybe a DH. I don't like the RBI 0 trait, but it'll be a tier 1. And Wild Thrower isn't ideal, but hopefully she'll never be in on the defensive side of things. So this one's not an exciting pick, but it's one that I think is just enough for us to be able to accommodate the traits, because we've had a limited options here. I'm sorry, chemistry. We didn't have a lot of options there. Left fielder, of course, will be Adriana Harrington. We will have a backup outfielder of Anya Corona, along with Demi Trampelson. And then the starting center fielder for the Tundras this year will be Zeke Price. He also has fastball hitter, but again, he's 20 years old. He's got such a good base in every other aspect that his raw talent alone is why I want to bring him in. So I hope he can really develop for us. And then, of course, Amos Get Wrecked will be in right field. Demi Trampelson will be coming in. And our starting rotation, we're going to start with rookie Gabriella Potter. Gabriella here is an A. She has no traits, so she is a base level that I think we can hopefully develop. Number 2 pitcher will be Luke Resplendent. Number 3 will be Rex Appleseed, who we already saw on the team. And then Journey Hahn will be our number 4 starter. 25 years old, really not a lot to work off of here, but she's a lefty, and she's got pretty average traits across the board. I'm just hoping she can hold it together enough to bring it to our bullpen. Speaking of which, we will be bringing back long reliever Sergio Dupol. He's 21, still looking to get his first trait, but I think he's got some decent characteristics that we can build off of there, and he is affordable. So that's who we'll be bringing in probably right here in just a second. In addition to Ellen Booth and Quincy Healthy, who are already on the team, along with Instante Day, that final reliever that we'll be bringing in is Les Christensen with his tier 3 rally stopper trait. He'll be brought in as our final roster move. So that's all of the options. Now it's time for us to start bringing in some players, and like I said, I'm a bit nervous. I'm going to try and find ways to save a little bit before bringing in some of these players. However, with Sergio being minus 0.5 million at 21 years old, I think he's worth bringing in right now. So let's get Dupol in the lineup. He will be replacing... Oh, sorry about my... I still get stick drift. I need a new controller too. Sergio Dupol will be brought in to replace Ashlyn Fry to financially afford some of our offensive moves. We definitely needed to cut some costs elsewhere, and so this is a tough decision, but one I'm fine with. All right. Les Christensen is under his price point as well, but at 31 years old, I think we can go a little bit younger, maybe a round or two more before, or I mean, a little bit cheaper. I think we'll go a round or two more before we bring him in. And then the next one is probably going to be Simon Baxter, but we're going to let him get well below his price point before we bring him in, and maybe below 3 million. And other than that, we got a long way to go. So let's go a round or two. Let's see where they go. If they go anywhere. Some moves here. Let's see if we can point out anyone in particular of note. Blade McPherson, who we had on the team, goes to the War Wagons. Catalina Doherty, or Kalia Doherty. And let's see. I'm probably gonna speed through this. Damari Morse gets brought in by the Heaters, and boom, there it goes. Les Christensen already gets signed by the Firebirds. I thought he had a little more room before he was going to get signed. So we already have to make a pivot too early for this, which is fun. So off the rip, we have to figure out who's going to be our next option at the reliever position. So we could go with Bear Dupree. I guess that's fine. We could go with Pop Goodwin. I'm fine with bringing him in, but he's going to be a little more expensive than what we already anticipated spending. So just like that, we already have a backfire move. Yeah, I'm still sorry about all the... Wait, what's happening here? Oh, I went the wrong way. We don't have anyone in the closer position that I'd be interested in at an affordable price, so we won't be going that route. And if we look at the long relievers, Donovan Marsh is the only option, and he's way too expensive there. So we could go with a crafty reliever if there's an option here, like Anthony Avila, but he'd be a little too expensive. We might be able to get him a little cheaper. Or Megan Felix here. No, she's a 2-pitch. And then Brew Buckley, who's 22 and a lefty. I don't hate this either. It's not ideal. We already have a pretty weak bullpen. But if we go with a lefty or with a crafty player, then in the starting rotation, we would replace Journey Hahn with a crafty, or I mean with a spirited pitcher like Knox Santiago, or Arjun Swingins could come back in. So we'll watch these two. Knox is right below his price point. And then that would mean we couldn't go with Journey Hahn. So looks like that's the route, but let's go a little bit farther before we decide anything. Santiago right below his price point. I probably won't be bringing him in because of the 19 accuracy. I'd rather go Arjun Swingins at that point. So let's skip a couple of rounds here. See what happened. Hate that we already had to deal with a with a pivot. Tomley Knight, Jeff Holmes, Liliana Houston. Let's go one more round here. All right, let's take a look. And Simon Baxter, just 0.2 minus below. I'm going to keep letting him drop a little bit more. And then we have Pop Goodwin, who's approaching his price point, but I'd like to get him a little cheaper. We're going to get a little bit more careful as we get close to round 10, because that's where I think a couple of our good players will start to fall. And we see Simon Baxter's at 2.8 right now. We were originally looking at him at 3.4, so I think I'll use this as a way to save a little bit of money, and maybe I'm going to try and go one more round with Pop Goodwin before bringing him in. So let's go ahead and sign Simon Baxter, and he'll replace Angelica Koch. So we have our backstops taken care of. We're going to now look at where you at, Pop. You're spirited, so that would be a direct replacement for Les Christensen, which means we could stick with Journey Hahn if we bring in Pop Goodwin. I might go one more round, and if we can, bring in Pop now, and then if we decide to replace or bring in somebody else later, we can pivot. But I don't want to lose Pop if we decide we want to keep him. So let's go next round. Let's say one more round. Okay. So we check again, and Pop is at 5.5. Now, Les Christensen was at 4.4, so this is 4 million flat. So this is 1.5 million over here, and that's a lot. I might go one more round on Pop here, see if we can sneak him past. And we have still a lot of players that are over their price point, so we're going to wait on those. Gabriella Potter, she's probably going to get signed right now. So we probably have to bring her in now if we want her. Let's see what other options we have at starting pitcher as a backup. So if we don't sign Gabriella Potter, we could go with Adriel Colbert. He is a good-looking pitcher, but he's 37, and he'll be a little bit cheaper than Potter. The other option would be Kevin Vo, who's not a bad option, and Leonardo Owens, who actually went to the All-Star game. So we have a few different options. I think I'll go one more round on Potter. I think if she was 20 instead of 25, I'd probably for sure sign her now. But let's go one more round and maybe she'll stay in there. There's still some viable options that other pitchers might bite on, or other teams might bite on. And let's check our other players. So we have Brock is still $1 million over. Norner West is still over $1 million.
Folks, it's time for sound trivia.
Curly's over $1 million.
The source of this sound, and you and a friend could be jumping on an
Flip Bauer is another guy that I'd like to try and bring in. Let's see. Brindley Splits here.
Not me reheating my coffee for the 4th time today.
Could get brought in if Flip gets signed. Don't want to do that, and don't want to do that. Yeah, this is a really tight set of options that we have here. That it makes it really tough for me to pivot, like you've maybe seen me do in the past. So I have to be really careful about making some of these moves. Yeah, this is not easy. I'm gonna go one more round. I think it's worth it. 0.9, 0.9, 0.9. I don't think we can afford to go that much on all three of these players. This is tough. I'm going to go one more round. I'm going to bite the bullet. It's going to backfire on me. At least one, maybe all three are going to get signed right here, I think. Holy moly. Now I have to bring them all in. So that was scary. Whew, that one had me for a minute. All right, so we have to bring in Flip now. He's at 0.6 over. We bring him in to replace that shortstop. We'll get rid of Jagger McMillan. So we have our starting shortstop now. All right, next we need our starting center fielder, which will be Zeke. He's 0.6 over. I don't think we're going to have enough room in our budget for everybody we want here. But we're going to bite the bullet. We're going to try it. And our new ace is Gabriella Potter. She's at 0.5 over. She's going to replace Colorado Bozak. Oh, that one scared me. Okay. Pop is 0.5. Let's go one more on him. He just dropped 0.1 right now. And nobody else is there yet. Next round. So Piper Gentry gets signed. One more. Snack Jimenez was somebody I was looking at, but would have only been brought in if we didn't have Harrington. I think he was also, yeah, I wanted somebody that was a little bit younger too. Big names coming off the board here, including Adriel Colbert. So he got brought in he got signed for 0.2 less than Potter. All right, so we have some of our team coming together here. Let's take a look at Brock. He's at 0.2 over. I'm gonna let him go one more. Same with Norner West. Curly can get cheaper than his price because he's 35. Evermore Patterson can get cheaper because she is older and she has some negative traits. Anaya Corona, we definitely want to get her down below her price point. And Demi Trampelson, she's at her price point. I'm going to let her go another round or so. Journey Han, she's over. We're going to let her go a little bit further.
The name of the show
And
is apparently
Swingins will only come in if we end
I
up
have to assume she didn't
going
follow
with
things
a
through.
crafty
I wonder if she read
pitcher
that one
instead
out
of a
loud.
or
Where's your
crafty
last
reliever.
dance?
I think right now I'm going to bring in Pop Goodwin for now, and we'll make this move again if we need to. Oh, we could also keep Ezra Wong and go with Arjun Swingin. So Pop or Wong? You know what? I might stick with Wong. We pitched decent when he was given the opportunity. So I'll leave Wong on here, and we will... Both of these are good backup options as far as, like, good enough to be an emergency brought in. And then Swingins here. Journey Han's not somebody I need to have on the team, is the only thing that I'm kind of like, don't have to make this move. They're both lefties. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go a little bit further, see if we can get these players for a little bit cheaper. We might just stick with Wong. Okay, so Fry gets signed. Fleet Meadows gets signed. Forrest Mustard, Elise Proctor, and June Mina goes to the Foresters. Good luck to her. All right, let's see. I think that gets us to where we want to bring in Brock Kramer. He's at his price point, so yes, let's bring in Brock to replace Mallory Hiker. Next one's Norner West. He's at 0.1 million over, so we're going to wait a little bit longer. Hurley is 0.1 over. We're going to wait. And Evermore Patterson, she's minus 0.1. We're going to wait on her as well. Anaya Corona is still over. Demi Trampleson just under. We're going to wait. Journey Han's still over. And we're in like wait and see mode for all of these players, so we'll go another round. Hunky Plaintiff, Emil Stein, who I thought about bringing in. Scott O'Neill was a all-star, goes to the Nemesis. Rhea Jaramillo goes to the Streamliners. All right, let's see. Norner West at 7-7. Let's bring him in now. We don't want to risk. We'll replace Pumice Beltran here. We're getting tight on money now. Evermore, we're going to keep waiting. Corona, I'm going to go one more round on her. Trampleson, let's go to 4.5, I think. Han, you know, Han is probably still going to cost, like, we save money by switching to Argent Swingins here. So I think I'm going to bring in Swingins. He's younger as well by one. He's got K Collector. He can develop a little bit more. So if we bring Swingins back in, actually, I could probably get him back to that 3 million. And then we would stick with Wong instead of Dupree or Buckley or Pop Goodwin. So one more round. Kind of pushing as far as we can here. Tunavon Crum I was interested in. He was really expensive. I will tell you, there was not a lot of like really good options that I was like super ecstatic about. And that was kind of something that I was bummed out. I was really wishing that we were going to see some better players get brought in. We can keep dropping on Patterson here. And I'm going to wait till Corona gets to 1.5, I think. Actually, she's not going to really make that much of a difference. So let's bring her in now. Replace Rios.
Well, we'll just have to assume it's awesome out there.
If you've joining for the first time for these off-season videos, just also know that we're not going to be perfect on the chemistry until the end of the season. So you're going to see a little bit of things not sitting right for just a little bit before we get settled in. I'm gonna go one more round here. All right, nothing. Corey Costa is gone. Donovan Marsh was interesting, but he's super old and he had a really bad pitch mix. All right, let's see. Shrewd Hodge. I might look at him as specialist. All right. And Ian Hackett goes to the War Wagons. So assuming he stays on the team, we'll see him later this year. All right. Ben Curley is our last starter that we haven't brought in yet. He's at a little less than his price point. Patterson still a little bit higher than I'd like, so we're going to give her a little bit longer. And then we have Demi Trampelson. She's still above the 4.5. I'm going to watch her to stay around there. I think what I'll do is I'll bring in Journey Han for that spot right now. I don't know what's better. Journey Han is a starter with... Shoot, hold on. If we go with Han, she's crafty. So then we need to bring in a Spirited. So it would either be Pop Goodwin, who's 1 million less right now, or Bear Dupree. Bear Dupree's really bad. Pop Goodwin's not too bad. Or we can go Arjun Swing-Ins and stick with Ezra Wong. So Pop or Ezra. We'd spend a lot more for both of those players versus keeping Wong and bringing back Swing-Ins. I don't think it's worth bringing in Pop Goodwin. His junk is really good. I said what I said. But he loses accuracy, and the gets ahead trait isn't that notable. Wong has time to develop another trait too, and with going this route, we'll actually have a little bit of room to actually develop. So I think I'm going to wait for that one, and I'm just going to bring back Arjun Swing-Ins. Which will be where is he at? He's at 3-1 right now. I'll give him one more round. I hope I didn't make any mistakes by going a little too far here before signing some of these players. So Pop finally goes. Ben Curley gets picked up by the Swordfish. So now we have to make a pivot move at third base. And there was like no options. He's 35, so I really thought he was going to drop a little further. So now we're in a tough spot. We'll take a look at our options here in just a second. I also thought about Trail Barneswell, but I couldn't afford him with everyone else that we were bringing in. Shit. Also, this Brock Rossi, he might be somebody I'd look to replace Dupole with because of that Rally Stopper trait. Okay, let's go see our options at third base now. I might have messed up. First of all, we have Dennis could play third. He is Ben Curley was competitive, so we need somebody who's competitive who can play third. So that means it can't be Jacques Stennis, which I'm fine with that. I don't really want him at third base. We have Royal Finley. Spirited. We have Raiden Coleman. He's 27. This might be our option. Outside pitch isn't ideal, but he's 27. Really low power, but good contact. Let's see what our other options are here at third base. And he's a decent defender as well. And outside of like Christian Black here is a decent defender too. But then we'd be looking at needing to bring in a if we bring him in, he's spirited. Then an option would be we'd have to get rid of, I guess, Ezra. No, not even Ezra Wong. We could look to replace Swingins with a competitive starter instead. Or we can bring in...
Your valuables in pinata cargo containers. Our mache is
Who's our first base options? Is there anyone that's competitive there? That's... No. Cork Exuberantly is not an option. Okay, so... Easy option is going with Raiden Coleman, and I believe I'm going to go that route here in just a second, but I want to double check my other options. So if we were to go with Christian Black instead, he's spirited, then we could look to bring in, instead of Argent Swingins in starting rotation, we could bring in a competitive starter. And Jesus, the only competitive starter is Cosmo Stubbs. Shrewd Hodge we won't be able to bring in because he's got disciplined. And we won't be able to do Brock Rossi because he's scholarly, so unless we get rid of Rex Appleseed, which I don't want to do. And what is Dupole is competitive, so again we need a competitive starter. And there are no competitive starters, so that means we don't really have an option there. So we're gonna go with Raiden Coleman as our backup here. I guess this is a nice affordable move. We'll get rid of Yusuf Whitaker. And because of that move, we now can feel a lot more comfortable bringing in Evermore Patterson. See, this one sucks too because like I don't really have any interest in bringing her in. Could bring in... Oh wait, Madison is a left fielder. Let's see. Dorian Schmidt is 37. Sophie Wyatt is wild thrower and choker. What are our options for Crafty? We can bring in Madison Rowland again instead of Evermore Patterson. And that is pretty much it. The only other thing we could look at is, so Evermore is crafty. So again, if we were to bring in like Jacques Dennis here, he could be like our primary DH. So bring Jacques in. Bad ball hitter, 61 contact, 78 power. That would mean we're bringing in a spirited instead of a crafty. So if we do that, then we can go... Oops, sorry. Then we go to... Instead of bringing in Argent Swingins, we bring in Journey Han. So we could go with the better player here. Instead of Swingins. Better pitcher. So is that right? Yeah, because we bring in the crafty instead of the spirited, and then we bring in the spirited instead of the crafty. Okay, so Journey Han as our fourth starter. We bring in Jacques Dennis, who I like as a better hitter than Evermore Patterson, and he can play 2 infield positions instead of just 1. Plus has no negative traits, has 2 positive traits instead. Where are you at, Jacques? Or just 1 positive trait here. So Jacques instead of Waylon Greer. And then we bring in Trampelson here. And we have 15.9 million. Let me double check that I have this team right. And then we can look to see if we can actually make any upgrades if there's room for them. So we had to make the pivot here, which is not the worst thing in the world. We actually got our bad ball hitter back by going with Jacques Dennis here. Outfield looks fine now. I'd rather have Amos actually as a I guess he's good enough to be a starter, but I almost feel like he's still a bench option. Good outfielder with that arm, but it's wild. Our rotation is interesting. Our bullpen is really weak. This is our area of opportunity. And I would say either upgrading Ezra Wong or Sergio Dupol. Instante Day is here as an anchor for like affordability piece, but also has 2 elite traits in this situation. And 57 accuracy is pretty good. So I think I'll keep him. So let's see what options we have to upgrade anywhere. Good players. We have Anson Massey. Not interested in him. We have Pumice, which we know all about. Look, she already went to gray hair at 23. Huh. That's really interesting. Royal Finley, we already talked about him. Roger Oldham. 34 with power versus lefties, but he's disciplined. 2 outfielders that are Bs. We have Brash Bentley, who's competitive. Decent outfield option. We have Douglas Homegrown, who's 41 and scholarly. And then we have Vip Pace. See, that's a shame. He has 2 spirited traits, but they're both really, really bad ones. Tyson Blackburn, scholarly. Womp Witness. So we could actually upgrade to like Leonardo Owens over Han. Emmy is 35 and Owens is 32. Both are workhorse pitchers. And then B. Roberts here. So actually, I might go with Leonardo Owens here. If we went with Owens over Han, that's a 1-for-1 on the traits. He turns into a tier 3 workhorse. We increase our spending by 1.7 million. Get a little bit older. We lose the lefty, but we get a much better pitcher. And he is the workhorse trait, which elite 4-seam fastball doesn't mean anything for Han. So I like this move. That would put us at 14.2. Let's see if we have any other options in the bullpen. We were talking about Dupol. So here's a move. If we went with Ezra Wong. If we went with like Magnus Rivas here, he's 21 accuracy, but he has pick officer. He's 24. He's crafty. If we went, gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe that happens. If we went this route, we brought in Rivas to replace Dupol. We increased by 0.7 here, and I'm fine with that. We would just then need to take Wong and replace him with a competitive player. That competitive player could be Janaya Bango, who is cheaper, but 21 years old, with tier 3 stimulated and 4 pitches. Younger than Wong, means better development opportunity. And while she's slightly worse in some of those attributes, she'll get an extra pitch, and she has stimulated, which would trigger to lead her to being more valuable. So we can spend a little bit extra money and actually get some back with Bango here. And we still have room to make another move if somebody else gets dropped. So I'm going to do this one. So we'll lose Wong, replaced with Janaya Bango. I'm happy with this move. We then move to Dupol gets replaced by Magnus Rivas, which is easier to say too. Spend a little bit more there. Yeah, I'm fine with this move, I think. He's actually a decent hitter too, so could be a nice little bench bat when we need him. And then we're going to make the move for Leonardo Owens to come in and replace Journey Han. Actually, before I make this move, Brock Rossi, Scholarly. If we were to bring him in to replace Rivas, and we lose one crafty player, but then we could get that back by bringing in Owens to replace Appleseed instead. But Appleseed was looking really good. I think I'm going to let Appleseed stay on the team. So we're not going to make that move. We will go ahead with this one, though. Let's bring in Leonardo Owens to replace Journey Han. And we're sitting at 15 million. And there's 3 players that are above, that are B+. In the starter, or I mean in the offensive side, overall, we have 3. Yeah, those are the only 3. And we can't bring any of these in. Jackman, I don't want to use the walk prone trait on. Lefty Specialist. Spirited. Who could she replace? It'd be way too much to end up replacing Instante Day. Actually, 9.4? And that would be a huge upgrade. Outside of the walk prone trait, we get older. We go to 9.4 million, and there's still a little bit of room for surplus. I'll probably wait. There was an outfielder here that I was interested in. Maybe Brash Bentley. He's competitive. Be way too much to replace. I guess that's another one that's like, we're at 9.7 after that. I'm actually going to let Bentley drop a little bit further. Maybe to like 6.8? 6.7? Bring him in to replace Anaya, and then that's going to be our bench outfielder. Maybe even a starter for Get Wrecked too if he's tense again. Let's go around. If Rash gets signed, I'm fine with it. But not, then we could bring him in. And Braylon Jackman got signed. Let's see. Nope. Let's go one more round. We'll look at players that got dropped too. No. Okay, let's take a look at Bentley now. Oh my gosh, sorry. Bentley. 9.9. So I'm not opposed to having Anaya stay on the team because she's really cheap and she is a decent development option. I hate how low the power is, and I hate the wild thrower trait, but decent in left field, has room for development, and tier 3 tough out is really amazing. If we bring in Brash Bentley, we're not really thinking about development. We're just using, like, we want to win, and he can be more productive than Corona. I think Corona can get really cheap, and we can maybe go a few games into the season to see how we're doing, and then decide whether we want to get rid of Bentley again for Corona later. So let's go a little bit longer, and we will bring in Bentley here, assuming he's still available. Never mind, he just got signed. So we're gonna stick with Corona, which is fine. Starter with Pick Officer and Wild Thing, not intriguing enough for me. Nolan gets signed. Patterson gets signed. She went at 5'3". And there's Vip Pace. Kyrie Hammerhead goes. All right, at this point, I'm going to fast forward skip to the rest of the offseason here, and then we'll take a look at the roster or the options in the free agent pool before we finish this video. I'm very pleased. Let me double check. Oh, geez. I guess I should have done that before I skipped ahead. The team should be satisfying. Okay, it is satisfying all of the requirements. We made a couple of upgrades there that I think are really valuable for us. The move for Leonardo Owens as our number 3 starter makes me really happy, and having Rex Appleseed as the number 4, I feel really good about that. The starters I'm pretty happy with, outside of maybe Raiden Coleman and Amos Get Wrecked. I think still needs a little bit of room to get that contact up before I'll feel confident with him. But if he's the worst starter in our lineup, I think there's a lot better. He was like our second best hitter last year. So for him to go all the way down to like the 7th or 8th worst or best hitter, I'm fine with that. The bullpen, of course, has its concerns, but this is where I think the traits shine for us. Having that many tier 3 traits in the bullpen makes that a much scarier bullpen than what we would normally feel comfortable with, at least ratings wise. So I'm feeling fine about that. Let's take a look at who's in the free agent pool here before we finish up. Pumice is still available at her, below her price. I don't think it's worth bringing her back. Case and Matthews here just can hit. Ace Barnett is a starter, no thank you. Dorian Schmidt is third base, no thank you. No thank you. Lola Lucas. We have Kaya Herschel. She's 43 with cannon arm, but she's disciplined, never mind. Tucker Landry's 42. We have a lot of oldies in here. Hippie Reed was a all-star. Nope, he's disciplined, never mind. The Roberts pitched really well against us, but I think we're set there. Jagger McMillan is out there still. We have Lila Grayweather here as a closer. I'm going to pass on that. And we have Knox. Yeah, so this is about what we're going to get. Pax Patel in right field, outfield option. That's not bad, but that would be a replacement for Trampelson, and Trampelson's younger, so we're going to stick with her. Not going to do that. And none of these other traits are really intriguing to me. Landon Rios, too low contact for us. Charlie Shipwright, no thank you. Brock Rossi. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get rid of Rex Appleseed there. Jefferson Larson. No thanks. Argent Swingins is still out there. And then Tyrone Keatley with RBI Hero isn't worth it. I think all these options are too low talent level. Yeah. So we're not going to make any other moves. So this is the team. Just a quick little recap of what we did. We kept Gadman as our starting catcher. We're going to be bringing in Simon Baxter, who's a veteran backup. He has tier 3 cannon arm, so he should hold down the fort when he does play, which hopefully won't be very often. Brock Kramer is your starting first baseman. 22-year-old. He's not a rookie. Oops. Oh my gosh. There we go. He's not a rookie. He played for the Nocturnals. He had 3 home runs, which were nearly half of his at-bats in 9 games played. So he becomes a full-time starter for the Tundras. Jacques Dennis will be our primary DH, I would say. And he is going to have tier 3 bad ball hitter. So that was kind of a surprise move we made there at the end. Milan Tirehead will be our all-purpose utility player, decent bench bat as well. So that'll be nice to pull him in when we need to. Then we have Makai Nornerwest, who's going to be our starting second baseman. We'll have tier 3 RBI hero with his 64 contact and 95 power. I hope we see a lot of home runs from him. He actually played for the Cutters last year, had 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. Hoping he can build off of that. I forgot to look at Dennis. Dennis played for the War Wagons. He did not play very well at all, so hopefully he does better this time, else Tirehead will be getting more starts. And then we have Braden Coleman, our starting third baseman. Coleman played for the Burners. He didn't have a great year. He was kind of, I guess he did decent, 7 for 22. 9 games, so he wasn't a starter, and it was all base hits, so we'll see what he does in here with the Tundras. Flip Bauer, he is a rookie, and he's somebody that I hope will really develop at 20 years old. Has tier 1 fastball hitter, but 93 contact, good defender as well. He's just a little slow. Adriana Harrington back as the MVP, returning to the team, the core of our offense. Anaya Corona is a rookie, hoping for her to develop while she sits on the bench. Zeke Price will come in. He is also a rookie at 20 years old, has also tier 1 fastball hitter, and again, a lot of really good attributes that I'm hoping he can continue to improve. Get Wrecked comes back for another year. He'll be starting in right field. Hopefully we can get rid of that wild thrower trait. And then Demi Trampelson, a bench bat, and hopefully a pinch runner from time to time with a tier 3 stealer trait. Gabriella Potter is a rookie. She is going to be getting her first time to shine as the ace of the Tundras. Right behind her is former ace Luke Resplendent. He bops down into the number 2 spot. I think he'll thrive there. Leonardo Owens was a former all-star for the Nocturnals, where he pitched a really great season. He's going to now come over to us with the tier 3 workhorse trade. And then Rex Appleseed, limited time with the team last year. He only had 1 start, but he was phenomenal. And he's going to be our number 4, which I think bodes well for us. Magnus Rivas is going to be coming in. He is not a rookie. Let's see what he did last year. He only had, he had 4 games, 5 1/3 innings pitched for the War Wagons, and he had no earned runs allowed, 0.56 whip with only 2 hits and 1 walk allowed, and 7 strikeouts and 19 batters faced. So actually that looks really, really nice. Hopefully he can grow off of that. Decent little pop off the bat with 74 contact too. Ellen Booth is back. She's the cornerstone of our bullpen. Quincy Healthy will continue to improve. 25 with Rally Stopper and Clutch. Janaya Bango is a rookie. Nope, she's not a rookie. Played with the Firebirds at a 3.86 ERA. She's going to be coming in with tier 3 stimulated. Hopefully that triggers quite a few times. She's 21 and room to develop. And then the backside of our bullpen is veteran Instante Day. Tier 3 reverse splits against righties and switch hitters. He also has tier 3 rally stopper with bases, with 2 runners on base. So I think he can surprise us, although he looks like the weakest player on the team. I think every one of these players has some potential, and there's a lot of positive traits on this team. A total of 19 traits are getting a tier 3 boost, and we have 6 traits that are getting a tier 1 boost. 2 negative traits, both at tier 1. Hopefully that won't make a big deal, especially with Corona being on the bench. Hopefully Get Wrecked can get rid of his. But that's the team. Let's take a look at development, see if there's anything we can do before we finish off. Ooh, this is crazy. I'm probably going to do these right now. Zeke Price immediately goes with Bro Boom, gaining power and contact with a chance to gain clutch. If he gets this, immediately becomes the best player on our team, I think. Flip Bauer, our other rookie, has a chance to gain first pitch Slayer, which would be a tier 3. That would be crazy. And he increases 3 very important attributes there. So yeah, let's do both of these right now. We'll start with Zeke Price. 2 power, 2 contact. Chance for 2 more power. He won't get it. Chance for 4 contact. He won't get that. But can he get clutch? 25% chance? And he will get it. Holy fuck! Zeke Price just gained clutch. He does probably become one of the best players on our team, especially later in games. Now, Flip Bauer, can he get a big boost to either power, speed, or both? He will not get the bonus power. Does he get the bonus 3 speed? He does not. Will he get the tier 3 first pitch slayer trait? He will not get that either. So he gets a little bit of an improvement here. Contact already being in a good spot, but power and speed, his weakest attributes, and they just got improved. So like what I see out of the team already, let's take a look at the potential lineup for game 1. Let's sim ahead to that one. We'll set the lineup and then we'll get out of here. I know we're approaching the 60-minute mark here, so I don't want to make it last any longer than it already has. The lineup that you'll see next time out, just going to start with suggested here and put everybody in the right place. They want Dennis at first base. I'm actually going to swap Kramer here. He's got the better arm. Dennis DHing. And they want Coleman on the bench. That's kind of weird. Okay, so what's the lineup look like? We're going to start with fastest player. Ooh, we don't have a lot of speed on this team, actually. We'll put Zeke Price in the number 1 spot, followed by Brock Kramer. Ben Harrington, she'll get to start in the 3 spot just because of her success last year. Let's put Norner West at 4 because of RBI Hero. Let's put Flip Bauer in the 5 spot, then Dennis. And then these are our weakest hitters here, so we'll go based on... Geez, I can't believe Gadman is that fast. I'm fine with leaving it like this. So that's going to be your lineup here. Zeke Price in center. He's leading off, followed by Brock Kramer, first baseman. Adriana Harrington, number 3 hitter in left field. Norner West at second base with RBI Hero batting 4th. Flip Bauer will be the number 5 hitter at shortstop. Jacques Dennis, number 6 in the DH spot, followed by Amos Getrecht in right field. Raiden Coleman, your third baseman, and Gadman behind the plate. That is the offseason for the Tundras. We head into Season 2 with the Tundras, seeing what we can do. Hopefully we can find some success with this crew and see a much better outcome than what we saw last year. Who are you excited about on this team? Which player do you think is going to be most successful? How do you feel about Mackay Norner West? How do you feel about Flip Bauer, Zeke Price, Gabriella Potter? What do you think about our bullpen? How bad do you think this is going to be? Do you think they'll overachieve? I definitely do. I think we have a team that can play for or compete for the playoffs this year. Love to know your thoughts. If you haven't done so already, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know your how you feel about this team, how you feel about this series, and what do you think else you might like to see on the channel. And lastly, let me know how you feel about this mic. I hope you like it, but if I need to adjust some settings, I can definitely do that. It's been a whole long video where you've been listening to me this whole time. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.